The Forgotten Asylum. There are places in this world that time has tried to erase, places so steeped in darkness, even the earth beneath them refuses to forget. One such place lies hidden in the misty woods of Vermont. Abandoned for decades, Black Hollow Asylum is nothing more than a crumbling ruin now, or so it seems. But when a skeptical journalist enters the asylum to disprove the local legends, he discovers that some stories aren't meant to be investigated, because some doors once opened never close again. This is the terrifying tale of the Forgotten Asylum. In the outskirts of a small, fog-covered town in Vermont lies the remains of Black Hollow Asylum, abandoned since 1963 after a mysterious fire destroyed its west wing. The asylum was originally built in the 1800s to house the mentally ill, but many who lived near it whispered that the place was cursed. Rumors of mistreatment, occult rituals, and patients vanishing without explanation plagued the facility until its sudden closure. Over the years, the building became a haunt for thrill seekers and ghost hunters, but most who went inside never returned with proof of anything, or they simply refused to talk about what they saw. Our story begins with a man named David Hart, a freelance journalist known for exposing urban legends and proving them fake. He had built a reputation by visiting infamous sites across the country and debunking the myths surrounding them. When he heard about Black Hollow Asylum, he saw it as another opportunity to disprove superstition and boost his channel's views. October 13th, 2023. David arrived in town just after sunset. The sky was an unsettling shade of gray, and an unnatural chill clung to the air. Locals were hesitant to speak about the asylum, but one elderly man named Thomas warned David with a grave tone. "People think it's the building that's haunted, but it's the land beneath it. That place has a memory. It remembers everything that was done to those poor souls." David shrugged it off, thinking the old man was playing into the legend. He packed his camera gear, flashlight, a backup battery, and some protein bars. His plan was to spend the night inside the asylum and live stream as much as he could. 10:32 p.m. He crossed the rusted gate, crunching over dead leaves as he approached the main building. Vines had overtaken much of the facade, and the windows were either broken or sealed with planks. The silence was suffocating. He entered through a gap in the east wing, the only accessible part left. Inside, the walls were covered in peeling paint, old bloodstains, and strange symbols that didn't match any language David recognized. He whispered to his camera, narrating the environment and mocking the atmosphere. That's when he heard it, a whisper, faint like wind through a keyhole, but it carried his name. "David." He spun around, shining his flashlight through the long hallway. Nothing. David assumed it was a trick of the wind, but the whisper came again. This time it was followed by the sound of chains dragging across the floor. 11:17 p.m. As he moved deeper into the asylum, his flashlight began flickering. He passed what used to be the patient cells, each one marked with names, scratches, and sometimes tally marks carved into the stone. One cell door was slightly ajar. Inside was a single chair facing the wall. Carved into the wall were the words, "I never left." David chuckled nervously, creepy, but probably done by some teenagers. He turned to leave the cell, but the door slammed shut behind him. His camera glitched, the air grew heavy, and the temperature dropped sharply. In the dim light, he saw a shadow standing in the corner of the cell, not moving, just watching. When he opened the door again, the hallway had changed. The decay was gone. The walls were clean. He was no longer in the abandoned asylum, but the asylum as it was decades ago. And it was full of people. Doctors, nurses, and patients all walking the halls, yet none acknowledged him. He tried to speak, but his voice made no sound. Then he saw them, the patients in white gowns, faces twisted, eyes vacant. One by one, their heads turned to look at him. All at once, they began screaming. 12:01 a.m. David ran through the endless corridors, which now seemed to shift and stretch. The lights flickered wildly. He reached the operating room, a horrifying sight of rusted tools and dried blood. In the center was a metal table, and on it was a body, his own. Panic consumed him. He screamed, but again no sound came out. Suddenly, the lights died completely, plunging everything into darkness. In the pitch black, he heard dozens of voices crying, chanting, laughing manically. Then a voice, louder than all the rest. "You wanted the truth. Stay and learn it." The door behind him vanished. There was no way out. 3:14 a.m. His live stream ended abruptly. His viewers watched in horror as David's last moments were broadcast, his face twisted in fear, staring at something off camera. The screen turned to static. When authorities searched the asylum days later, they found his camera smashed in the main lobby. No other trace of David remained. But that wasn't the end. 2 months later, viewers reported that David's old live stream replayed on his channel, only this time he wasn't the one holding the camera. It was filming him from behind. And just before the video ends, he whispers into the camera, "Don't come looking for me. It's not abandoned anymore." Some places are better left forgotten, but curiosity always finds a way back. If you enjoyed this chilling tale, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more spine-tingling stories from the shadows. And remember, the next mystery might be closer than you think. This is World of Mysteries, signing off until darkness calls again.